We're here at the Tate Modern looking at two very different pieces today.
But both of them challenge your mind in similar ways.
Alright, so the first art piece that we're going to take a look at is Damien Hirst's The Physical Impossibility of Death in the Mind of Someone Living. This piece was arranged in 1992. It features a shark in a glass box filled with formaldehyde.
Okay, so really, if you're seeing this piece for the first time, it's quite shocking. It's not every day that you can be this physically close to a shark that is slowly changing. Actually, it's decaying every day.
Right, the change is what it's all about. It challenges the mind to embrace the fact that death is present there not only in the form of a shark, but in the form of time.
And this shark that we're looking at today isn't the original shark. The first shark decayed, and Hearst had to find another shark to replace it.
Damien Hirst put the formaldehyde in the glass box to slow the process of decay, but even the formaldehyde couldn't stop the inevitable outcome of the natural process of death, which plays into the idea that nothing can stop death, that death is an unstoppable and impenetrable force.
Right. And now, Hearst as an artist never thought he'd be showing his art here at the Tate.
Yeah. In an interview at Newsweek, he said, "Screw that, I never show at the Tate. That's for dead artists." And this is very ironic considering the idea and title of death behind his work.
I think that this is a groundbreaking piece, and you can get a lot out of his work just by being in its presence.
Right. Personally, I think that this piece is ineffable. It is beyond words. Even the title could be a work of art. The physical impossibility of death in the mind of someone living. This is crazy. To try to even think about death and understand it is impossible. What happens to you when you die? And what happens to your body after you die? What happens to your soul and the world around you? And I think it's hard. Death in the mind of someone living is almost impossible to comprehend. What I like about his art is that it provokes the mind to question the hard realities, in this case, death.
And I totally think it relates to his views.
Hirst even expresses that it would be great if art galleries were more like the natural history museums, where you go in and there's a big wow factor, rather than having to ask yourself, what am I supposed to be thinking?
So for Damien Hirst, it's all about changing your mind and really thinking about the tough questions of life and death.
Yes, and that ties into the second piece that we're going to be talking about.
Right, and this is Andre Serrano's Piss Christ, taken in 1987.
So I have to admit, the first time I encountered this piece, I was fascinated by the fact that it was a crucifix, but pretty horrified that the fact it was immersed in urine.
Yeah, Serrano chose to immerse a plastic crucifix in his own urine and then photograph it.
Although it startled me, I found the artist's intentions pretty fascinating.
I really liked what Serrano said in his interview with The Guardian. He told them, "At the time I made Piss Christ, I wasn't trying to get anything across. In hindsight, I'd say Piss Christ is a reflection of my work, not only as an artist, but as a Christian."
I find it so interesting that he was raised in a strict Catholic home and is still quite religious, and yet he still caused a huge uproar challenging people's viewpoints, especially those that do believe in Jesus Christ.
And as Serrano mentions, it's like the crucifix is more of a fashion accessory today. When you see it, you're not horrified by it at all, even though it represents the crucifixion of a man. Christ was crucified and laid on the cross for 3 days, where he not only bled but pissed himself as well. In the words of the artist, if Piss Christ upsets you, maybe it's a good thing to think about what happened on the cross.
Right, it really does bring up a strong point.
Yeah, and I think what the artist is wanting us to do is take time to think about why this iconic symbol is so upsetting when it's immersed in pee, but it doesn't upset us when we see it in a setting such as a church.
I think it offended the people that were in need of a wake-up call, those who don't like to look at the bad or the ugly.
I agree, and it challenges our mind in that it makes us think about the not so pleasant things whether we want to or not, making us address our true feelings of the crucifix.
I believe that is why Serrano's work was so successful. It was his ability to awaken the feelings and open minds of the general public.
Yeah, and this is why his work is so controversial, even to this day.